Welcome back to Out and About Today. I'm Pam Wheeler. Our guests tonight have been dialoguing with LGBTQ youth for more than 4 years through their award-winning website, everyoneisgay.com, of course. This fall, they released their first book. This is a book for parents of gay kids, a question-and-answer book for parents of gay kids. Welcome co-authors Dannielle Owens-Reid and Kristin Russo to the show.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad you were here. I read this book it's an easy read, and I read it in a couple weeks. And it is awesome. I wish there was a tool like this 20 years ago when I was coming out.
Thank you.
I could have used it.
Yeah.
So before we get to this great book, let's talk about you all. Tell me a little bit about each of you, Dannielle and Kristin, and then how you all connected.
Well, I am from Charleston, South Carolina, and I went to school in South Carolina, then moved to Chicago for a while, and right when I moved to Brooklyn, I met Kristin, and it was kind of like a turning point in my life. I had started this website, Lesbians Who Look Like Justin Bieber.
And were you featured on that?
Yeah.
I did. It started with a picture of me, yes.
Okay.
And once I met Kristin, we kind of started talking about that and talking about the negative feedback I was getting from the community, saying that I was making lesbians look bad and I was stereotyping. And Kristin, who will tell you about herself, she was also feeling sassy and angry like me, so we kind of just decided to start the website, and now that's my life. So.
Yeah, before I met Dannielle, I was working as a personal assistant in New York City. I still live in Brooklyn. And when we met, I was about halfway through getting my master's in gender studies. So I had like all new information that was also like circling around in my brain. And when Dannielle was telling me about what was going on with lesbians who look like Justin Bieber, I obviously had a lot to say about it.
Right.
And so like she said, we just got to talking, and you know, we really just wanted to create a space where we could make people laugh and be funny and silly, and we started Everyone Is Gay with that premise, and then it turned into much, much more.
It is because, and Everyone Is Gay, you all do these webcasts where you all talk about, well, you answer questions from Twitter and Facebook and all that, and you just give real answers, and it is funny, but also it's a needed resource, right? You're hearing from folks who need an outlet.
Absolutely. That was one thing that we didn't know going into it, is that there was just this hole where a resource should be. I mean, there wasn't really a place for anyone between the ages of 11 and 25 to ask a question that they would feel weird or uncomfortable asking their parents or their teachers, and so we kind of filled that need without knowing that it was even there.
Yeah, and the laughter was, I think, what set us apart from a lot of the resources that were available. I mean, Dannielle's right, there weren't many, but there weren't any where people were just being themselves and being honest and being open. And you know, our advice helps people, but I also think that there are a lot of young people out there who are just like, oh hey, that's what it can look like to be a queer person. And that in and of itself is really helpful.
Just normal, silly. And the amount of traffic, I left my page with all your traffic, but it's like 1.8 visitors on the website, million visitors.
We've had, I think, over 8 million.
8 million. See, I don't even know. And 30,000 Facebook friends and all kinds of traffic. I mean, obviously there's a need you're filling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you all were here for a book tour in Nashville. I wonder is there anything different regionally when you're in the South and you're from the South? Do you get different feedback? Is it harder to book in the South?
It wasn't this go round. I don't know how it would be if we had been to all of the cities we've been to or something, but it wasn't a terribly difficult thing to book. And in talking to the people here, the only thing that I really notice is like sometimes we make there's a joke in Kristin's story in her story where she's like, I started kissing a girl and then we did other stuff, and everyone down south is like,
yeah,
right. Sure.
That's the biggest difference.
Totally.
We're a little more conservative.
So Nashville gave me a big laugh.
Yeah.
Nashville gave me a big laugh.
So it's
yeah, and I saw on Facebook yesterday somebody just randomly have been walking in Hillsborough Village and said the line was out the door, so you're well received here.
Yeah, I think that people, a lot of the conversations I had when I was booking these events down south, people were so excited to have this conversation. I think that everyone is very ready for it and just needs, you know, people just need a place to talk about these things, and I don't think we're often given those spaces.
So let's talk about the space to talk about things, or a resource. So the book this is a book for parents of gay kids. How do you go from Everyone Is Gay to this great resource?
Well, what happened was, so we started by answering advice online, then we made videos, and then we started touring schools, high school and college campuses, and we noticed a pattern almost right away that all of the questions we were receiving online and in schools, there were some very common themes, and one of those themes was, I want to come out to my family, but I don't know how, or I've come out and now I don't know how to talk about it, and people were saying to us, like, please, can you do something? Can you make something for my parents? And so the first thing that we did was we looked to the internet to see what books are there. What books can we tell these young people that they can give to their families? And there was nothing.
There's nothing, right?
Yeah. I mean, there were books. They're a little outdated, you know, a few decades old, or they're very clinical and logical, or they're just very somber, and they're very much like, I know it feels like your life is over, but here are ways you can deal with it. And we're just like, it's not, you know, it's like that conversation was just in such a weird place, and we wanted to kind of spin it and make it like, hey, okay, cool, your kid is gay? Awesome. Here are some answers to some questions you might have. Like, it's just, I think it's about the way that you approach the conversation, and no one has really approached it the way that we did.
I know, it's awesome. And when we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to open up, this is a book for parents of gay kids, and we're going to highlight a few of these questions and your responses.
All right.
So stay with us. We'll be right back.